both Eric and Jessica mentioned communication. And so I know, Patavis, for you, you stated that you don't like to wake up to a long text message or wake up, have one, whatever it is. Not everybody is a good verbal communicator. Not everybody has those skills. Not everybody is the wordsmith. And some people have certain anxieties that can't always come, when they're in a conversation, whether it's just a calm one or a heated one. They may not always be able to articulate what they want to articulate at that time. And so when they come back, and maybe they're better at typing it, texting it, that way. So do you not feel that is a form of communication? I know back in the day we used to write letters, write a letter, send it, be 4-page letter. Like Aaliyah said, you send it, you mail that thing, you seal it with a kiss. And then you wait for that person to send it back to you. But it wasn't always, you didn't always have to have that face-to-face or that, over the phone communications.
Let me ask you a question. What if I didn't get it?
Didn't get what? The text?
Yeah.
Pay your phone bill.
Oh, hold on, stop. No, what if I didn't get it? Every text, every phone call doesn't. What I'm saying is I'm playing devil's advocate because what if it didn't come through?
No, 9 times out of 10, you take. I mean, I get it. Okay, there are times it doesn't come through. Okay, but what I'm saying
what if I didn't get it?
Or in a real world situation, a perfect world situation.
That's a real world situation. What if I didn't get it?
Didn't get it. It did not get received. Okay.
If I didn't get it, if I didn't get it,
then she's going to resend it. Like,
that's what
and I think it's kind of like the intellectual dishonesty about it. It's just kind of like because. And I get it. If you don't like text communication, but then you throw out, well, you shouldn't text people because what if I didn't get it? Well, most of the time you are going to get, we getting the WYD text messages back and forth, and I think a lot of times with women.
It's okay, Jess. It's okay, Jess.
A lot of times with women, the reason why text messages work sometimes, and I'm a big person where I don't want us just to text. I want us to be able to talk on the phone. But the times that I've sent text messages, it's been because the talking, I'm getting gaslit, and the guy is not letting you talk. And he's trying to manipulate the situation a lot of times to where it's like, if he can manipulate and gaslight, then he's going to get you to shut up about certain things. And a text message will allow that no one can come in and say, oh, no, but, well, you shouldn't feel that way. And it's like, why would you feel that way? It's not my fault you feel that way. That's when I think a lot of times, women, are emotional beings and you need to get this off of your chest and you'll send it in a text message. But if that's the only way she communicates is with long text messages.
Can I get some clarification? Because just to get clarified, he said he just don't like long text. He didn't say he wouldn't read a regular text. He said he just doesn't like long text. So
what's long?
Another thing to that, like I said, what if I didn't get it? And then on top of this, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not being harsh. If a person can't communicate effectively after the age of 40, they got a bigger problem than dating. Okay, simple as that. They have a bigger problem than dating. Leave dating alone. We need to work on something else. We need to work on something ain't there. Something's that's not just flowing right.
But that's
self-esteem issues, perhaps.
That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
That's people. They're not. I don't know all people, so I'm just saying from the experiences I've had. Like people do not. We just talked about it. You just experienced it with the young lady. She couldn't even admit, oh yeah, I was. And y'all had just met for 2 weeks. People want to put this representative on because they're not emotionally equipped to handle rejection. They don't want to not be accepted. I mean, they're deathly afraid of not being accepted, and they will say anything and not be themselves. I feel very bad for individuals who are caught up like that. But so I don't get, I'm already privy to it. So I don't have an expectation. So I'm really looking for someone who can demonstrate the opposite, and that they are pretty candid or they present their true selves. But man, you're gonna run into that. You are right that they have a lot of other things to work on, and they don't need to be worried about dating.
But does it matter what form of the communication it comes in? Like, does it matter?
To me,
And
texting is not a form of communication.
I'm gonna say from a woman's perspective, I agree with that with text messages. I do not like text messages, especially if it's a conversation that's very important, right? Text messages for me is like, hey, can you pick up something to eat? I'm on my way home or something like that. If we're having a heated debate, if we're talking about something, we need to actually be face to face and talk. I don't even like doing it on the phone, because when you're reading a text message, it's up to your interpretation. Right. So you could be trying to express yourself in this text message. They're reading it and they're receiving it the way they want to see it. But when you are face to face and when you have a conversation with them, they have no choice but to see what you're trying to say, because not only are they hearing you, but they're seeing your body language. Communication is more than just words. There's body language. There's the nonverbal communication that happens between two people. So for me, I don't accept text messages. And also, when I'm actually getting involved with a person, I explain to a person, this is how I communicate. This is how my love language is. I'm not the type to argue. I do not argue. So if you're that type of person, then one, don't need to be together, or two, we need to figure out a way to be able to communicate with each other. So if there's a disagreement, we need to stop and actually figure out what the root cause of this situation is, or this disagreement, and be able to respect each other's viewpoint. Sending a text message, no, I'm going to respond whenever you're ready to actually talk, then we can talk, but I'm not going to sit here and read this 4-page letter, because as an adult, we should be able to talk to each other. And if I'm in a relationship with someone, I don't want to feel like I have to send you a text message in order for you to hear me. That means I don't need to be with you. But that's just my perspective.
Do men send long text messages?
Oh yeah, that's some.
Oh yeah. And for me, this is why I feel like I prefer, because I know some guys who only want to text. They don't want to talk on the phone at all. They only want text. And honestly, that's weird, Black, that you are, you said the long text messages. But yeah, I know a lot of guys, it seems like that's the only way they want to communicate. So I'm opposed to that, but I am open to every form of communication that, to use it for, what it needs to be used for. I won't ever say that I'm going to totally take the text message off the table. But yeah, I do agree with, you don't want that to be the only way of communicating,
If you're in a relationship with someone, then, and if you guys are sending 5-paragraph text back and forth, then that's a problem. Now, if you've just met someone and it's to me, I don't feel like, and this is my personal opinion, I don't feel, until I'm vested in someone, I just don't have the energy to just sit on the phone and talk to you like that. That's kind of my way of a little bit of kind of understanding. I don't know. I'm not maybe because I talk all day at work. So when it comes to me talking, when I get off, I don't feel like talking. I just want to sit up on the couch and maybe if it's something that's kind of new. If it's someone who I'm kicking it with, then no, we're not going to have 5-paragraph text messages. It's going to be more quick things, But I think like I said, for me, it's until I get emotionally vested or with someone, then I just don't feel I'm not just going to talk to you on the phone like that.
So,
how do you get emotionally invested in someone if you're not having conversations with them?
Well, you can conversate. And you're right. Communication is definitely a must-have in an adult relationship at all points. At all points, you have to have communication. However, sometimes just having a full all that serious conversation time, I don't have time for that, because that's not my personality. And I'm not that serious all the time. Life is not, you take care of your business, But at the end of the day, let's have a little fun, you know. Ultimately, a conversation starts at a text message. But if it's something serious, yes, we'll talk face to face and deal with it. But I'll tell you something, everyone wants to communicate, or they say they want to communicate until
it's time.
Communicate. And the communication is about where you have to be accountable for something that you have done or a situation that you have caused. And then at that time, then no one wants to communicate. Then it feels, then it's like, well, are you attacking me? No, it's not like that. We're communicating and we're having an adult conversation. It's just that the conversation that we're having is because of something you're a creator of. So, and that's just something that I just had to just add in there, people want to communicate until it's time to communicate, and then they don't want to communicate.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And you have to be open, right? You have to, especially in the beginning stage, you have to be open and to take responsibility. And I feel like when well, I guess this is my opinion. I don't want to put that on everybody else, but I feel like when I'm talking to someone and I'm getting to know someone, I can tell, just by how they react to certain things, if they're a person that's going to be open-minded. Because like you said, like it may be that you have to be able to show ownership to be able to have that dialogue and that conversation with that person about the situation. So it goes for both people. But I guess for me, it's more so of like, I get where Shawnee was talking about, I don't want to sit and have a long conversation or serious conversations, but I feel like they still need to be met. Now, do I want to talk to you every day? No, especially if we're just, just getting to know each other. But there's got to be times where we do sit down and actually talk to each other so that we can feel and get to know each other. Because if I'm just hanging out with you when we having fun, yes, fun, but when it gets down to actually being serious about certain things, especially if we're trying to be partners, I need to know what your mind is at in that aspect. So we do need to sit and have some serious conversation.
We talked about communication. Black talked about, once you're a certain age, if you can't communicate. I feel like how many of us really saw adults communicating effectively when we were young? I would say most people, you might know how to communicate your job, but then a lot of times when you get people into romantic relationships, then all the emotions involved with that, I feel like most of us, now if any of you saw, great, communication from most adults growing up, then great for y'all. I think a lot of us did not see effective communication growing up. And so there was one question that I've had on my mind is, as Black people, were we socialized to be incompatible partners?
So incompatible partners, can you define that a little bit more?
So are people raising their sons a certain way and raising their daughters a certain way, but then it's like you're not raising these kids to where they would be able to come together and if you had a son and you would tell him like, don't be serious about none of these little girls, but then you're telling your daughter, a guy don't want a hoe, so you go out there and you commit to one guy. It's just kind of like, how is that going to work? With if everyone's kind of telling, I'm not saying
trying to open up a can. She's trying to open up a can right now. That's what she's doing.
I can say I have one of each, and I can tell, one of each son and daughter, and I have been accused at times of raising my daughter to be strong, independent, self-sufficient, and coddling and babying my son. People have said you would never let Cam do the things that you're allowing Jackson to do. And to a degree, I have to admit that they're right. And I'm like, y'all, really? Y'all think so? Has that shaped her and I think a lot of it has been some guilt on my part based upon divorce that I went through when they were younger, just a lot of the things that I felt like I had to make up for, you know, Cam dealt with and handled things a lot. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, guys. The dog got a hold of him. Get your ass. I'm back.
wasn't Sonny.
I'm like, Peter.
Anyway. Huh?
I said, Peter, don't contact.
Right. You better carry your ass on from these snacks. So, I have, but I don't think I have never, I think more so for my son, I have said more to him, treat a girl the way that you would treat your mom, or the way that you would treat or you would want someone to treat your sister. Mm-hmm. You know, so never sexualize a female, you know. You know, if a girl is beautiful, then, you know, I also told him, I was like, don't be a jerk. Don't be a creep. Mm-hmm. Don't be that nigga that when people see you, they be like, ooh, girl, he nasty. He a jerk. He's a creep. Nobody wants that person. You know what I'm saying? So, but for my daughter, I don't think I've ever given her that. I've never been like, you know, make sure you marry rich. Make sure you do all that. It's just, I've never had that conversation with her, and I don't know why. Maybe I feel like I don't want to say she didn't need it, because I mean every girl does, but she seemed to have handled herself in her dating situations so far. Mm-hmm. I've also told my son, I was like, listen, and we speak very candidly. You know, I'm not going to, you know, I may baby him in other ways, but when we speak, I said, listen, no means no. If a girl tells you no, that's it. Pull up your pants, put your thing in there, whether it's hard or soft, whatever state it's in, get your ass off that girl and go. I was like, it is, what's the ratio now, man? Is it 100 to 1, 100 women to 1? I mean, 100 guys to 1, whatever it is.
100 women to 1 guy.
100 women to 1 man. If that one girl tell you no, it's probably 99. Okay, we're going to 50 other ones that could tell you yes. Don't get yourself caught up in a situation and behind one piece of pussy. So, you know, but I try to tell them, like, no means no. Whether she has flirted with you, whether she has told you to come to her house, whether y'all in the bed and she butt ass booty naked, and when it get ready to do the do, and she starts saying whatever language is in, whether it's Spanish, nada, whatever it is in Chinese, pull out and leave. But I don't want you getting caught up in a situation to where, so we have to have these conversations. So when you're saying to be incompatible partners, can I go back to that? Our parents didn't speak to us like this. Our parents didn't speak to us about relationships. They didn't speak to us about social issues. None of it. We had to learn this shit on our own.
But they did speak to us about, like you said, let's see, you talked about if you're telling your daughter to be strong, but then you're coddling, you know, your son. I'm not saying that that's what you always, you know, did or whatever. And so, yeah, sometimes I do feel like, or if, you know, the sons are being told, like, you know, don't get serious with a girl, but then the girl's told, well, you know, no one wants a hoe or whatever. You know, I feel like sometimes, and I don't know, I mean, it could be the answer is no, but it seems like somehow, I don't know if there's a battle of the sexes, but it seems like the Black community has for sure a battle of the sexes that other communities are noticing. You're seeing talk show hosts like Dr. Phil, or I can't remember the other doctor guy, to where they've had shows on it. And so the world is noticing, like, hey, Black men and Black women are not getting along. And so obviously there's something extra going on with us.